Hi Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Nanda Pranam Mataji.
Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्ण माता जी प्रणाम
Hare
माता जी।
Hare Krishna Mataji Pranam. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
जी
Hare Krishna. So we'll start with the prayer and then uh, today's verse 25, right?
Mataji 26 Mataji today.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we'll start with the prayer and then we have to do 15 minutes of the challenge. Let's start the prayer first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jyaudirayet Nashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. I'll say the other part of the prayer too, because before we start the challenge. मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा गदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रियै जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा शिव साधि गौर भक्तिवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नाम्ने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Welcome everyone. So Dhanyavad Shri Mataji. Yesterday, what did you discuss in the Krishna Janmashtami special?
Mataji, I have discussed about the advent of Krishna. That first chapter summary I did, Mataji.
So you did the whole thing that why the all the demigods approached
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu Daksha Vishnu and then
Yes,
why
yes, Mataji. I have done that part.
and then Krishna has already appeared.
Yes, Mataji. Till that only I did that.
Okay, but Krishna has not gone to Vrindavan yet.
No, Mataji. That part I didn't do.
So Krishna appeared. Okay, thank you. So Krishna appeared in his first in four-handed form, then in two-handed form, bedecked with um, all his paraphernalia, and then looked very beautiful, was very effulgent, and Vasudev was very, very happy in his heart. He actually wanted to celebrate at the birth of his son. He was thinking that people celebrate the birth of their child anyway, especially the son. In my house, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has appeared as my son, and I'm so unfortunate that I'm actually imprisoned. But in the mind, he celebrated. In the mind, he gave lots of charity to the Brahmanas, lots of cows, lots of jewels, lots of food grains, and there were big celebrations and chanting of the Vedic hymns for protection of Krishna. So in the mind, he was doing that. So then he got the instruction that he actually is supposed to transfer Krishna to Vrindavan and bring the girl who is born there to the prison. So the thing is that everything started happening on its own. Everyone, because of Yogamaya, the jailers, the people who were watching the jail, they fell asleep, very, very deeply asleep. The shackles and Vasudev opened. Mother Devaki was also fast asleep, and it was thunderstorming outside. So Vasudev picked up Krishna, put him in a basket, and started walking, and the door started to open as soon as he started to walk. So I was hearing one time one sannyasi, I don't recall his name, but I was hearing he was in Gita Nagari and he was saying, you see, yes, there is a literal meaning it literally happened that Vasudev carried Krishna, and then the shackles started to open, and the doors started to open, and all the people who were obstacle to the movement were fast asleep. But the inner meaning, there's an inner meaning as well, that if you actually surrender to Krishna, then Krishna says in 7th chapter Bhagavad Gita that Devi Esha Gunamaima Maya Durataya Mam Evaya Prapadyante Mayam Etan Tarantite. So he says this is demonstrated here, that if somebody becomes a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then all the impediments that one may have in their service to Krishna are automatically removed. Right? And Krishna says that too, that the Rami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yen Mam Upayantite. Then he says Yoga Kshema Vahami Aham. Right? There's so many places that he says that actually I help that person who wants to come to me. So he was explaining that how this is a literal meaning, but then there is an inner meaning, that if you actually become brave enough, because this is very dangerous, it's very dangerous that somebody is imprisoned on the position of Vasudev, and they have shackles on their body, and then their 6 children have already been killed. So but he did not care about the danger, because his determination was resolute in terms of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So everything started to open for his service to Krishna, and he was able to carry on his service very smoothly. There were so many obstacles, right? It was raining, it was dark. So the Anantashesha, Anantashesha, he appeared as the umbrella to cover Krishna, and it was Yamuna was flooding. Yamuna really floods. I saw the floods in Yamuna last summer when I was in Vrindavan. It really floods. Yamuna is far away from Krishna Balram temple and Vrindavan. If you've been there, and it really, the water just pours everywhere. So it was flooding, and I was thinking at that time also that, my God, it must be like flooding like this, or maybe worse than this when at the time of Krishna's birth. And and he didn't know, he didn't, and he had to walk from Mathura to Vrindavan. If you have seen the jail where Krishna was born, and Vrindavan, even let's say Raman Reti, where Krishna Balram temple is, where Krishna and Balram used to play, it is quite far. Right? It's quite far. He had to walk all that. And then, but Yamuna gave way. Okay. But Yamuna was very eager to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So she was trying to touch the lotus feet of Krishna. And Vasudeva was still very fixed. He did not complain. He did not hesitate. He did not have second thoughts. And he went exactly where he had to go, because the Super Soul was guiding him. He went to the house of Nand Maharaj, where again Mother Yashoda had given birth to a child, but she didn't know that she had given birth to a child, and she was fast asleep. So he exchanged the child. He put Krishna there, and then he brought the daughter, the girl, back to the jail in Mathura. And then he put the shackles back, and then everything, all the doors closed, and then everyone who was asleep woke up, and they didn't even have a memory of what had happened. All they could hear is the cry of a newborn child. And when they saw that the newborn child was born and it was a girl, they went to inform Kans. And Kans was filled with rage that now the person who's going to kill him is born, the child. So he wanted to go immediately and destroy this child as well. But when he came, he saw that it was a girl, and Devaki, Mother Devaki, pleaded that the child who's supposed to, or who the prophecy which said that who's going to kill him is going to be her 8th son. But this is not her 8th son, this is a daughter. So she pleaded that, please leave this child for me. For me to mother this child. Please don't kill this child. But he was not hearing it, and he just picked up the child and threw it on the ground. But the child slipped out of his hand, and it was a magnificent, very, very beautiful goddess Durga. She was Vaishnavi, right? She's a devotee of Krishna. She's called Vaishnavi. And then she, kind of scolded, blasphemed Kans and said that the child who's supposed to kill you has already taken birth elsewhere, and you will be punished thoroughly for your heinous act for spreading all kinds of injustice around. So you will have to pay for it nicely. So in that way, we can see that serving Krishna is not an easy task. But if we become determined to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, keeping all our woes, sorrows, grief, all these emotions were there in Vasudev and Devaki, even at spiritual level, because they had lost their children. And now Vasudev knows that he's separated from his son at the time of birth. So all these emotions are described in the Shastras, but he was able to hold them back and put the service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to save Krishna's life first, upfront. That is why he is a pure devotee. That's what makes him a pure devotee, because he gave importance to Krishna first. And then tomorrow we'll see that then what happens after Kans learns that Mother Goddess Durga was not the child who was going to kill him, and what next actions will Kansa do to evade his death or evade his fate. But Kans was also very, very Krishna conscious. Like, he was always thinking of Krishna. He's always thinking that who is this child? Where is this child? This child will kill me. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't eat. He couldn't breathe. He was very fearful at the slightest of the sounds which were not familiar to him. So he was very Krishna conscious in that manner. But that Krishna consciousness was not anukul. That is why it is not pure bhakti, right? We have this definition of pure bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What is it? Shunyam. Bhakti Uttama. Very nice. Thank you. So because his bhakti was not anukul, it was pratikul, because he wanted to kill Krishna. So it is not considered as a pure devotional service. But anyhow, because he was Krishna conscious, because he was thinking of Krishna 24/7, he did get the liberation at the time of his leaving the body. Okay, we'll start the Srimad Bhagavatam class, but any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections? So take home from this, when you read Krishna's pastimes, when you read Krishna's, anything about Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, there's always going to be an outer meaning and an inner meaning. So try to reflect on both and see what we can apply in our lives from all the lessons that we are learning. Questions, reflections, realizations, corrections? Or can I start this?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Was Jogamaya was that who transferred from Om to Balaram, from the Om of Devaki and to Rohini, and this one is Mahamaya Mataji.
Mahamaya is spiritual potency. No, Durga Devi is not Mahamaya. Durga Devi is managing the material affairs.
Okay.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. You're right. This is Mahamaya. Durga Devi is called Mahamaya, the external potency of Krishna. Yes. I think I said Yogamaya. Thank you for correcting me. Yes. Venkat Nasma Prabhuji would like to recite the verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. 6th canto, 4th chapter, verse 26.
Yadoparamo manaso namaropa viropasya drishta smriti samprayamo yashat yayate kevalaya swasamstaya hamsaya tasmai swishi sadmane namaha. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you. Vijay Kumari Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dhanvat Pranat. O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Yadobaromo Manaso Namaruba Rubashya Trishta Smriti Shamsro Mashat Ya Iyeda Kevala Yaswa Samstaya Hamsaya Tasmai Kashishatmane Namah. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Pranandini Madhvi Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी प्रणाम माता जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यदो परामो मनसो राम रूप रूपस्य दृष्टि संप्रमासत् यते केवलय संस्थया हंसाय तस्मै शुचि संस्मार्य नमः हरे कृष्ण माता जी
Thank you. Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम माताजी
Dandavana.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यदोपरामो मनसो नाम रूपस्य दृष्टा स्मृति संप्रमोषात् यायते केवलया स्वसंस्थया हंसाय तस्मै शुचि सद्मे नमः थैंक यू माताजी हरे कृष्ण
Thank you. Shubharao Prabhuji. Shubharao Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता दंडवत प्रणाम
Navina.
ये तो ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यदो परामो मनसो नाम रूपस्य दुष्टस्मृति संप्रमोषात् ययीयते केवलया स्वसंस्थया हंसाय तस्मै शुचिपद्मने नमः
Thank you, Krishna. Shama Gopika Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम
Navina.
यदोपरामो मनसो नाम रूपस्य दृष्टा स्मृति संप्रमोषात् ययीयते केवलया स्वसंस्थया हंसाय तस्मै शुचि सद्मने नमः हरे कृष्ण
Thank you, Krishna. Chitramoyini Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी प्रणाम माताजी
Navina.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यथोपरामो मनसो नाम रूपस्य दृष्टा स्मृति संप्रमोषात् यायीयते केवलया स्वसंस्थया हंसाय तस्मै शुचि सद्मने नमः हरे कृष्ण माताजी थैंक यू माताजी
Thank you. Repti Ratnangi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी प्रणाम माता जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यतो परो मा मनसो नाम रूपस्य दृष्टा स्मृति संप्रमोषदात् ये यदीये केवलय समस्तया हंसाय तस्मै सुशीसत्मने नमः हरे कृष्ण माता जी थैंक यू वेरी मच
Thank you. Uma Kulkarni Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय यदोपरामा मनसो नाम रूपस्य दृष्टा स्मृति संप्रमोषात् यायीयते केवलया स्वसंस्थया हंसाय तस्मै शुचि सद्मने नमः हरे कृष्ण माता जी
Thank you. Yadopparamo manaso nama rupasya drishte smriti sampramoshat ya iyate kevalya samasthaya hamsaya tasmai suchisadmane namaha. Yada, when in trance, uparamaha, complete cessation, manasaha, of the mind, nama rupa, material names and forms, rupasya, of that by which they appear, Drishta, of material vision, Smriti, and of remembrance, Sampramosha, due to the destruction, Yaha, who, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Iyate, is perceived, Kevalya, with spiritual, Swasamsthaya, in his original form, Hamsaya, onto the Supreme Pure, Tasmai, onto him, Suchi Sadmane, who is realized only in the pure state of spiritual existence, Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances. Translation by His Divine Grace Prabhupada Ki Jai. When one's consciousness is completely purified of the contamination of material existence, gross and subtle, without being agitated, as in the working and dreaming states, and when the mind is not dissolved, as in Shushupti, deep sleep, one comes to the platform of trance. Then one's material vision and the memories of the mind, which manifest names and forms, are vanquished. Only in such a trance is the Supreme Personality of Godhead revealed. Thus, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seen in that uncontaminated transcendental state. Purport by His Divine Grace Shabad Ki Jai. There are two stages of God realization. One is called Sujganam, or very easily understood, generally by mental speculation. And the other is called Durganam, understood only with difficulty. Paramatma realization and Brahman realization are considered Sugyanam, but realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Durganam. As described here, one attains the ultimate realization of the personality of Godhead when one gives up the activities of the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing, or in other words, when mental speculation stops. This transcendental realization is above Sushupti, deep sleep. In our gross conditional stage, we perceive things through material experience and remembrance. And in the subtle stage, we perceive the world in dreams. The process of vision also involves remembrance and also exists in a subtle form. Above gross experience and dreams is Shushupti, deep sleep. And when one comes to the completely spiritual platform, transcending deep sleep, he attains trance, Vishuddha Sattva or Vasudev Sattva, in which the personality of Godhead is revealed. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriye. As long as one is situated in duality on the sensual platform, gross or subtle, realization of the original personality of Godhead is impossible. Sevan mukhe hi jivadu swayam eva surate adha. When one engages his senses in the service of the Lord, specifically when one engages the tongue in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and tasting only Krishna Prasad with the spirit of service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is revealed. This is indicated in this verse by the word Suchi Sadmane. Suchi means purified. By the spirit of rendering service with one's senses, one's entire existence becomes Suchi Sadma, the platform of uncontaminated purity. Daksha therefore offers his respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is revealed on the platform of Suchi Sadma. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following prayers by Lord Brahma from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, verse 6. Tathapi bhumman mahima nugasya devi bodham arhati amalantar atmabhi. One whose heart has become completely purified, my Lord, can understand the transcendent qualities of your Lordship and can understand the greatness of your activities. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjan Shalakaya Chakshuran Damyana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I think I said the prayer. When one's consciousness is completely purified of the contamination of material existence, gross and subtle, without being agitated as in the working and dreaming states, and when the mind is not dissolved as in Sushupti, deep sleep, one comes to the platform of trance. Then one's material vision and the memories of the mind, which manifest names and forms, are vanquished. Only in such a trance is the Supreme Personality of Godhead revealed. Thus, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seen in that uncontaminated transcendental state. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, which is called as the Prescribed Duties of the Mankind, chapter number 4. Do you still remember the name? It's called as the
Hansaguhya prayer offered to the Lord by Prajapati Daksha.
Prajapati Daksha. Very nice. So, and why is he offering Prajapati Daksha is offering prayers to Krishna? Why is he offering Hansaguhya prayers?
First, he created Ojini by his mind and by his sense, but he was not satisfied with his creation. Therefore, he prayed.
Very nice. So he wants to perform his duty of populating the planets, and when he saw the deficiency in conducting his duty, he took to austerities and penances, and he went to Vindhya range of mountains in the northern and stayed in a holy ashram and started offering prayers to Krishna, Hansa Guhya prayers, which are not made by him, but he's reciting it from the Vedas. And in this particular verse, he is talking about when Krishna is becoming available or becoming visible in the mind of a living entity. What Vibhuti is of Krishna is explained in 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita, which resonates with this particular verse. Krishna is describing different opulences in 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita. So what Vibhuti is explained in this verse? In all the senses, I am the
Mind,
of
Mataji.
all the senses, I am the mind. Yes. So Krishna is describing, this is the opulence of Krishna, is described in all the senses, I am the mind. So what are the three stages of consciousness? Jagrati, Shushupti, and there's a third, I know the English. Jagrati is fully conscious, and then there is semi-conscious, and Shushupti is deep sleep, where they're saying when the mind is dissolved. Say in Shushupti or deep sleep, mind becomes dissolved, means that the activities in the mind, which are thinking, feeling, and willing, come to a pause. All right, but in the conscious stage and semi-conscious stage, there is dreaming. Is still the mind is working and is thinking, feeling, and willing, but only in the deep state of sleep, the mind is not working. So it is written here, the mind becomes dissolved. But what is the transcendental stage? The transcendental stage is, this is, read this again, is not being agitated, as in working. Working is Jagrati or completely conscious. Dreaming, which is semi-conscious stage. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, Sanskrit name. I have it in my phone, but I don't have my phone on me right now. And Sushupti or deep sleep. So these are the three stages of consciousness of a living entity. And the function of the mind is described, and it says then the mind is not functioning at the material level in duality in these three stages of consciousness, but is only thinking of Krishna. Then it does not have a memory that I am actually part and parcel of this material world. I have anything to do with this material world. I have any relationship with this material world in any shape or form. When completely that function is transformed, the darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is achieved. This is what is written here. Which form of Krishna is the presiding deity of the mind? It is explained in 3rd Canto, 26th chapter, verse number 28. I know that. Yes, you tell me. Which form of Krishna is the presiding deity of the mind?
Niruddha Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Aniruddha Mataji.
Very nice. So, Aniruddha, this verse explains that. The mind of the living entity is known by the name of Lord Aniruddha, the supreme ruler of the senses. He possesses a blackish blue form resembling a lotus flower growing in the autumn. He is found slowly by the yogis. So this particular form of Krishna, or a Paramatma feature of Krishna in this form is reached by a person whose mind is completely in trance or meditation or complete samadhi. I guess this is samadhi, right? Otherwise, we are not able to understand who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how Jagrati, Swapna, Susupti, Turiya. Turiya is 4th dimension. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Otherwise, we are not able to understand that who is Krishna, because we cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation. As Prabhupada is explaining in the puppet, that in our life, in this life, we are actually getting experience. See, in our gross conditional stage, we perceive things through material experience and remembrance. And in our subtle stage, we perceive the world in dreams. You see, it is so deep. We can actually have a big, I have so many ideas about this particular sentence itself, discussion on this only, that in the gross stage, we are experiencing, we are perceiving things with experience and remembrance. And the experience is gathered by the 5 senses. And the 5 senses are defective. So we are always illusioned. And remembrance is made by gathering the experience. And Prem Prakash Prabhu, you back me up with this, that I remember reading or studying in my college days that when we look at an object with the eye, then the vision that is formed in the brain, in the vision center, is actually upside down. But they cannot figure out how what is formed in the brain is upside down, but we are seeing the image downside up. You see the tree that or whatever we are seeing, or ourselves in the mirror, wherever we are seeing ourselves, the brain perceives the image upside down, but we are looking at it as downside up. How is it happening? We don't know. We actually don't know. Nobody knows. Right, Prem Prakash Prabhu? I remember in ophthalmology
Yes,
class.
Mataji. That's very true. All the images that we perceive in the occipital region is always upside down.
Yeah. And but then we are looking at is downside up. So how is that happening? So that means our senses are illusioned. Okay. And because they are illusioned, we commit mistakes. Because we commit mistakes, we have a tendency to cheat. And what is the other? Illusion, commit mistakes. What are the other 4 defects? We are
Cheating
cheat,
propensity.
and one more.
Imperfect sense.
Imperfect senses is the first thing. Yes, because we have imperfect senses, because then we are illusion. Because we are illusion, we are always committing mistakes, and we want to hide our mistakes, so we cheat others. Actually, we cheat ourselves. We don't cheat others. So this is how our experience is formed in this material world. And in the subtle world, we perceive the world in dreams. Prabhupada gives example. There'll be a very nice verse which will come later in 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam of mistaking rope as a snake. This is also a prayer by a devotee in the forthcoming chapters, that rope is mistaken as a snake. But rope exists, snake also exists. So how can one perceive rope as a snake? Because of the experience and because of the illusion. So the prayer goes on that, okay, like that, Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are transcendental. But because I don't have an experience of anything which is transcendental, I perceive you as a common person. So unless and until one comes to that level where the mind is not in duality of anything, not dependent on the gross and subtle experience, not manufacturing its own experience in the dreams of processing whatever we are seeing outside in the daytime, or experiencing with other senses, it is difficult. So the realization of Bhagwan is difficult, as is written here. So how can we come to that experience? How can we come to that experience is also explained. We can come to that experience by Sevan Mukhe hi Jivadu Swayam Eva Spurite Adha. When we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, especially which sense? Especially
Tongue.
with the tongue. Very nice.
Tongue,
Somebody,
Mataji.
yes, especially the tongue. Especially the tongue which is engaged. So if we are engaging our senses, it's very simple. Okay, Krishna consciousness is simple. It's not easy, but simple. If we are engaging our senses in gathering the experience of the material world, we feed into our illusion because it's imperfect. But if we use the same senses in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are actually going away from the illusion. So the choice is very clear. Okay, it is very clear. And then it is also written, yes, there are 5 senses. One may get confused that which sense to engage. The direction is given that start with your tongue. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Do not eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. Don't put it on the tongue. Don't. Because we don't want to go in illusion again. If we are going towards something, a goal, if we are working towards a goal, even if somebody is working towards a material goal, they want to achieve something, some big position or education or anything in life, they have to do hard work, yes or no?
Yes.
I have to do hard work. So when we have to become Krishna conscious and that's our goal, then we have to endorse some sort of tapasya. Actually, it is not tapasya, it is a purification of the senses, but outwardly it looks like tapasya, at least in the beginning. Okay, so define the goal and define that what path we want to go and walk on it. I have said this before, if we are going to walk away from Krishna, we are on our own. Krishna has said it. He will be Upadrishta, he will be Anumanta. He will oversee and he will permit. But he's not gonna be giving me a backup because he doesn't want me to walk this path. But if we move towards Krishna, then dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mam upayanti te, then yoga kshema vahamiham, then I dwelling in their heart remove the ignorance and give the knowledge. Right? So all these things will happen, but it doesn't happen when one is walking the path of material life. So even though the material life, the spiritual life is a declaration of the war to the present situation, still declare this war because the victory is assured. Like Arjun's victory was assured, he was assured that Arjun is going to win the war. Like that, we will also be victorious because we are walking towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is victory himself. Okay, so this is a very analytical verse or Sankhya or counting verse of what is the situation of the mind, but the verdict is bhakti. You know, we have to like churn it and then get it out and make it bhakti. That is my mind going towards this way or is my mind going towards Krishna? So define it, watch it. If it is not going towards Krishna, seek help. Let us seek help of each other in service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let's help each other and then walk this journey back to home, back to Godhead. I think I'll stop here. Any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections?
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, दंडवत
Yes,
प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna.
माता जी एक क्वेश्चन है, लाइक आई एम इल फॉर लास्ट 5-6 days, मतलब नॉट वेल। सो मेरे जो चैंटिंग है वो कंप्लीट नहीं हो पा रहा है, एंड आई एम फीलिंग दैट आई एम कमिटिंग अ क्राइम। इट इज द थिंग व्हिच इज कमिंग इन माय माइंड, यू नो। आई एम टेकिंग हिज नेम कंटिन्यूअसली बट होल्डिंग इट and completing. So, and what it is, so is it I'm moving away from Krishna, or is it how to do it? I'm having this feeling, you know. It is
Yeah.
a very bad feeling. It's a very bad feeling.
Well, I'm sorry of not feeling well. Focus on getting better. You know, I was in Gita Nagari last week and Devamita Maharaj is there and he was talking about one devotee asked this question that Maharaj, when do we know that I am walking the right path? When do we know that my chanting is pleasing Krishna? When do we know this? He said, when you have chanted in the worst of the worst situations, then it is very highly unlikely that you will ever give up your chanting. So then he asked the crowd the question that, have you ever been in a situation in your life where you had every reason not to chant, but you still chanted? So if that has happened, then it is highly unlikely that you will ever give up your chanting. So we all were like thinking that, have I done that? Have I done that? I had a friend whose mom was like in her last stages of life, a few years ago. Part by part, her body was dying. And we were watching it. There's nothing you could do. She was in hospice care at Gitanagri. Every part of her body, every day was slowly withering in front of our eyes. And she would be up all night. Her mom would be crying with pain all night. I was right there in the next room and I could hear her cry all night. But my friend, she endured it. She took care of her mom. And then she would go dress the deities every day. Every day she was dressing the deities. After Mangal Aarti at 5 a.m., she would go dress the deities and then come right back and do the care of the mom. And then again, the whole day. And then again, she was sleepless, tired, but she never gave up and she finished the 16 rounds. It was like, I said, Paijata, this was your victory, right? So like that, Mataji, there are two schools. Okay, first is that if somebody is really sick and somebody is really unable to complete their rounds on the beads, then you keep a note of what you're not able to do, but do catch up eventually. Don't leave it. Do catch up. Okay, but if it is a matter of taking some medication to put the fever down or pain down or whatever it is for a few hours and you're able to catch up on your rounds on that day, then do it. So give yourself the priority because the guilt is not going to take you anywhere. You have to get something out of the guilt and move on. Krishna doesn't want us to get stuck in a guilt that you're not doing it, you're not doing it, you're not doing it, you're not doing this. Okay, you're not doing it. This is a reason, and this is what action I can take. Okay, move on. So you have to figure out if the health is really not allowing and you're really trying your best, then keep account of how many you're missing and then catch up when your health is back. Don't miss it. Don't let it go like, okay, I didn't chant now, those days are gone, I can never do it again. No. But if the health allows, by taking some proper treatment, then do it. And this might be a time that if you are able to sail through this difficult time, you will become more attached to your chanting and never give up chanting, as Maharaj was saying the other day. But we will pray for your recovery. Is she there?
Yeah, Mataji, I'm here. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Okay, Krishna, we feel better.
Thank you.
Madhumati Vilasni Mataji.
We will all chant one Hare Krishna Mataji for her.
Okay, yeah. Just do it at the
Hare
end.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram.
Hare Ram,
Madhumati
Ram.
Vilasni Mataji, you have a question?
Haji. Yes, Mataji, we have realization like this shloka is perfectly fit for the this condition of Devki Mataji. In Krishna book, one place Prabhupada has mentioned Devki was completely fearful and like he has taken completely shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and she had lost her all the six children like Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Matsar. He has given it in explanation, Mataji. So her heart was completely pure and the perfect place for God, Lord to appear, Mataji. So I just connected both of the situation, Mataji.
Very nice, thank you.
Yeah,
But her
thank you.
fear will be transcendental fear, not material. She's not fearful for her life. Right?
Okay, Mataji. Yeah.
We don't hear her being fearful for her life or begging, save me, save me, save me. Fearful for Krishna's life. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare.